going to get up here and aspect and say what I need to in regards to I don't want this currency from individuals' hands or prostitutes. I don't want a motherfucking single dirty ass dollar from yourself. I absolutely despise being an American. It is an embarrassment. I've been literally included with multiple aspects from around this nation within the most unprofessional, within the most indoctrinizing promotion of prostitution of professionals, professional people prostituting themselves and aspecting, looking at different apparatus of people as the entrance point of profession. That's why, of course, this country hires its PhDs and outsources its aspectual scientists from Asia or different places. And Lord, aspect we pray that our doctors are of Asian descent and not nearly the 1% of Americans who have some sort of mental agility, regard, and or vanguard of that matter. It is literally lost upon this nation. I have been aspected in the most egregious and outrageous interdispersions of literally being displaced, being tyrannized, look at my eyes. I've literally been tortured to death by direct energy weapons, long range acoustical devices, day and night, with the aspect of a tyrant of integrated persons aspecting racketeering and organized criminal activity that are seeking ultimate control and using these direct energy or long range acoustical devices and pulsing aspecting brain tau within the insistence of which can be regarded as an MRI that looks like the same aspects of persons that have been aspected with sonic blast within war. And this is documented insistence, and it goes on directly to civilians, and we're not paid for it. I'm not, and I want my money. But are you going to get it out of Americans? No, they're corrupt as hell. There are no ombudsmen, anybody that aspects as literal insistences of different departments that would aspect what is going on. It's a madhouse where I am. In this state, it is a madhouse. People are running in front of cars. They're literally doing all kinds of mad things. People are laying in the middle of sidewalks, falling off. People have stopped wearing shoes in this red state. This is the biggest state in the union, and it encompasses a melting pot of where most Americans will be traveling to, aside from the northeastern aspect of the United States. I aim to be a European. I want that aspect of citizenship. I'm being trapped here. I'm being weaponized by the state's processes. I have charges and things that are aspects against myself that are fraudulent. Total fraud. I've been in the hospital trying to heal my body ever since 2023, learning how to walk, learning how to see. I don't understand having no hair and then trying to grow some back. So I don't understand what the hell. I haven't gone through the aspect of a centuries, once in a time aspect of a storm that displaced and had me lose every single thing that wasn't thing that is an item that I owned. And we're gonna because I'm gonna start talking about other subversives. I want the TPC injection to stop. You stop suppressing, and we're aspecting whether it's holosonics, HOLOSONIC, or any other type of aspects such as Genesis, or otherwise take the tools off of me per audio spotlighting and parametric speakers and take away. I'm going to start talking. If I don't see the numbers come in like they should naturally do, I know what I garner. I understand this from previous years, Tumblr, everything else that has aspected images of myself since I was in my 20s. I have it. Hello, Jose. Excuse my ranting and literal diatribes, long drawn out speech, but it's necessary. This country has systemically fallen. at least where I am at. As I've stated, there's a melting pot of different collections of every culture in our country, and from where everyone is running from for their functional lives, they are aspecting the same insistence that they are literally so aspecting of the working class, but losing all aspects of amenities. They're losing their aspectual, literal, functional footing to even keep ahead. And it's a sick game of literal professionals that are driving working class people that are tax viable citizens into total oblivion, totally crazy, and without any regard for their own lives. And I understand it's never going. This is not a utopian. That's delusional. I understand that this is not. There's no such thing as world peace, but there cannot be a total breakdown of no law. There are no laws that exist in this city. I have seen it's not the normal people. Normal people, civilians can be controlled, correct? It's the people that have all these damn instruments. They are absolutely delusional. They're absolutely crazy. The persons that are incorporated into all these corporate structures, they're your bosses, they're your administrators. And some people say, welcome to American Psycho. This has always been an aspect, but and not to this degree. I mean, I'm not that old, so I guess I've never thought that I would aspect slavery in my lifetime. I thought, especially for my generation, to be the persons that are, we literally now have this torch of what we learned of what was the evils of past, and how, and it's no, it's a cycling, just like economic cycles, as I've been doing my reading again today, that continue. There's the, depression, recession, surplus, and then it keeps spiraling, and it's not, it's a normalcy. It keeps occurring as far as economically, and also socioeconomically, and as far as human behavior within this aspect. And this word modern, I hate that word, quote unquote modern, because there's nothing modern about what's going on. People thought that the 20th century was modern as well, and you saw what happened in Nazi Germany. People were moved around from concentration camp to concentration camp. They were starved. They were literally separated from their families. And I was a victim of Hurricane Harvey, so I was separated from my family, put into different types of camps, an enactment of aspectual starvation, different aspects of dysentery, of literal pathogenic biological aerosol attack by using the environment as a weapon against us. Let me tell you something. I don't care about training grounds and persons that have aspected. Everybody watches the first 48 who are aspectual detectives and all of these different things. Or I'm not blowing a whistle. I'm telling what's going on in my damn life. And I don't want to be trained. I don't want to be anything. Way past the point. My eyes are telling the story about it. This is how I'm starting to look every day. I'm being worn the hell down. If you look at anything that are my pictures, and believe me, I don't want to be YouTube famous, popular. I'm so very chill and very much down to earth. I would rather be watching your videos, thumbing up your aspects as I normally do, and giving my one word comments and going on. I've literally been forced through so much torture because of being ridiculed and laughed at with an enforcement and everything else that I thought that I was doing correctly. But if I go ahead and commit a Columbine or an Oklahoma City bombing, then everything, when it can be on TV, then that's when, people want to rush in, because we are Hollywood here in the States. And if it doesn't have smoke and mirrors, then there's no story. If you don't have media that are extorting and coercing people into crimes, but they're being driven into oblivion and driven crazy, there's really no crimes. People are not really that crazy. People stay themselves. People are too high half the time to literally want to wreck anybody. They may get into some things that are endangering, but not merely the aspects that are literally caused by professionals extorting and exploiting individuals and using direct energy weapons and or long-range acoustical devices to perpetuate false delusions so that for personal gain against civilians, as using a form of intrusion upon a person's very own mentality to aspect a meta reality made and propelled by force of another person's own intentful will, which is aspecting mental anguish of the most gross and outrageous regard. And no one is literally adult enough to, I've aspected adults playing games with all sorts of just personal things to help take care of yourself as a human. I don't believe in church. People don't go to church. They go to church. A church is a community aspects to it to as another distraction or another escapism aspect. I guess you should not believe in church. You should believe in, whatever God or presence that some people, they aspect to logic. And I'm with that as well, as long as there is something that aspects some sort of order. I've witnessed the literal aspect of non-organization or disorganization within multiple businesses. Yet I'm not an ombudsman, but everywhere I go, I don't care about people running real life simulations to get a proposed end, and whatever is the aspect of blacklisting with jobs and everything else so that people cannot function. This is a misdemeanor A. And if it's interact with corporate structures and aspecting more than three people, it is organized criminal activity. And from place to place, it's a continuous course of conduct. See, these are things that I've had to, remedially in layman aspect to study for my own life based on what's happening to myself, and purport out that it's aspected upon its citation from actual library instances that it's correct and it's not being applied by professionals. It's they get a degree, they get a paper, then they get into these places and sit down and watch the working class slave around and still be happy to, if you're not happy receiving crumbs or receiving dysentery or aspecting pathogenic aerosolized biochemical attacks upon your immune system, because it's indoor atmosphere is more dangerous than outdoors. Outdoors you have ultraviolet radiation. Outdoors you have the dispersion of the winds. Also you have trace minerals that can bypass upon you to not dilute your entire aspectual epidermis biome. I text L Coop. And hi, anyone else that has observed this aspect. I've had more injections of electronic data tampering by suppression of videos so that persons within the organized criminal activity that are aspected on the cell towers per their MAC ID address and or their device ID that is kept for at least 2 years, then that can be aspected or by the FCC's account and can be aspected by the constable per a tower dump of the instances of persons that are within the area that are literally on your block perimeter feed that insist upon relegating into aspecting the surveillance in the area or perimeter feed so that it is able, and everyone with one of these, if it decides to work, that's a scam too, these home cameras, and which can be reinstallated to take out frames and then reinstall them through or add digital distortions. So it's a waste of money. You would get an animal as a deterrent. I guess they work when they need to, and real time doesn't aspect anything when you have signal jammers, correct? It is very unprofessional in this city. Not everyone, it's the 1%. But everyone else, they're probably harassed to death, or excuse my eyes for crossing. That's literally my brain distorting. I have brain injury. I literally have great speech. Let me not say that may seem presumptuous. I have adequate vernacular presentation of articulating words most of the time, aside from when I'm being triggered into psychogenic stuttering because of the literal inundation and that has been placed upon myself per aspect and harassment to the grossest degree. have been terroristically threatened and aspected, that any environment is moved away from its normal functioning by its policies. The policies of this state have been put down with force and aspect of assault, which aspected of January 8th towards myself. I know persons are going to get tired of me saying aspect, Marsha, 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 but it, you know, that's the word I go for when I'm extremely tired. I've not written anything down, so this is not scripted. It's not an act, and I'm sure some of your lives are not movies either. So I damn sure understand a lot more of how psychos work within the American and within this municipal system that's integrated within the aspect of this union, which aspects per insisting upon human rights and its enactment upon the Convention of Torture, CAT, with the aspect of insisting upon the Geneva Convention and these treaties that enact with this regard, high United Nations. Somebody send me send me a hot air balloon so I can get the hell up out of here. I don't trust none of y'all's planes and stuff like it. Not right now. They're too. I'm glad that planes are aspected by computers, because humans are full of shit, and I know I shit myself, but at least I wipe my own ass. I don't go around trying to take somebody else's food out of their mouth when it's enough food to be allocated per instances of not being wasted or using as a biofuel, but then they'll use it as long as it's abusing who literally aspecting sadism, the deriving of pleasure from mistreating others. These are DSM-5 psychiatric conditions, but because they're not bipolar, schizophrenic or something, these people are not given a pill or something. They need long-acting injectables that can be ordered by the judge per an insistence that they cannot be contained when aspecting. If they cannot take care of anything that insists upon the functionality of their life with resources, as its aspect is what is considered a mental disorder. When something interferes with your ability to make a living, then it is a literal addiction, and it is something that needs to be corrected, and you need to deregulate aspects that are maneuvering so quickly within the mind, as in the instances of mania, that you can't regulate between normalcy and aspecting excitatory which is psychotic. What is the episode? Psychosis. It's normal to modulate and go up in a roller coaster when you don't have a depressed central nervous system, when you're not drunk, and some people probably need to be drunk so that they can sit the hell down. But when this is not a chronic problem, the normal human mechanism of mental processing and other biological aspects go up and down. That's normalcy. When you get stuck in between being super depressed, like half of America is, because there's no leadership within the provided integrated enclaves of where you are appointed to be a leader, and or the aspect of taking so much deliberating time sequences that people's lives are wasting away and melting the literal biomechanical processes that make processing logic possible, and using the mitochondrial aspects to proliferate surplus and or deregulate in a modulating insistence. But when everybody's stuck and glitching and there is no sort of, or being driven mad, then the persons that were appointed within these different, because they want to regard, and the United Nations wants to go and, aspect some sort of proposal to different persons to, hey, maybe you should, help regulate what, the agencies and different branches that you have going into these measures. I'm hopeless about that, and that this is aspectual. Depression is literally actual dehydration, not having an even playing field for mental processes to take place, or biological processing to take place. But I'm convinced that there is a systemic aspect of systemic depression, which is different than not being hydrated. And this is literally a created cage of literal confinement where you're being aspected to literally go against anything that has any constitutional aspect. That's totally aspirational, just like that uncompleted pyramid. It's providence, but there is nothing that goes on in that regard and that I have witnessed. I don't need to be trained. I don't need to be groomed. I need to be functional. I don't like adults that I have never seen more adults behave like children. It's scary. And I literally, you can look at people that are breaking out of their teenage years and very much into early adulthood, and like everybody literally has more sense than their parents who are in positions of, high administrations. It's beyond, we've gone far beyond it being the diet. It's literally just a willful non-compliance to want to act in a rational and reasonable manner that is not shocking to the conscience of the court and other reasonable-minded people in Aristotle's court of common-minded people. Everybody wants to head for the border. I'm convinced that everybody's heading to the border while we're trying to close borders. So now they close, everybody's caged in, and now we can't even leave out. I can't make money. I can't certainly keep my own money. I thought that I felt how the Republicans feel, but the Republicans are not feeling me because nobody has tried to offer. And I guess we haven't like did enough things to like burn the city down like California. They always lead the charge, I guess, because they got Hollywood and they have to be that. But the biggest state here, there's nothing big going on here. I guess we're enacting what the others, and I guess I'm inclusive. We're slow and easy. We're not as excitatory as Chicago. They'll run straight through the building with the car. I'm all with that. If the people are abusive, you have the right to use equal and proportionate force against somebody that's literally being aspectually abusive. Mental assault is aspectual, or mental anguish is assault. That's an assault charge. There's nobody filing charges. Nobody files charges. That's long ago been gone. So a decree of receivership from some aspects to take over the slowness and weakness cost lives. Take that. Slowness and weakness cost lives. My life, your family's life. The literal insistence of missionary standoffs that people are watching slavery happen in front of them. You totally get the gauge of persons that have a depressed central nervous system. They're totally drunk. They're totally gone off of their benzos and diazepines. And you're dead to taking care of your children. That's why your child can cry and you literally just look at it. And that's why you see someone laying in the street, in the middle of the street, you walk over them like they're a puddle, and you don't aspect that maybe they should be institutionalized. The Stafford Act, executive branch, I get it. Checks and balances. I've been reading about that. There's no unilateral insistence. I would love for some, I would love for some unilateral shit. Get some order in this motherfucker. Like have some people march in a line and use the audio spotlight parametrics to get people in line. Turn up the dial. Get people to start being in order. North Korea, by this point they need to just put the speakers outside like that. Hey, like y'all do them damn church speakers and start talking about what God said. And I bet he did say it, and he told everybody else singularly outside of that audio spotlight that wasn't like literally within the radius to hear it. And you believed you were divine and special and touched by something. I want to be touched by functional motherfuckers. that understand how to respect my space, leave me the hell alone, and stay the way fuck away from my money. Excuse the expletives. You see the eyes getting crossed. I've been tired. I've been tired. I know people in the environment are gonna be like, one thinks I lose it. I'm sure, but they're crazy too. Clinically, I don't have no papers. I don't have any papers. I do not have papers stating that I am clinically crazy. Um, but everybody got a fucking health problem in this country, or they're trying to simulate one with audio spotlights and parametric speakers and acoustic arrays, long-range acoustical devices, formerly known. And you like my learning? Entiende, like. Yeah, people are touched by God. They're working with the government, like they're being no, they're being driven crazy by rogue and actors or defendants or perpetrators within civilian populations operating within hidden hubs, aspecting the insistence of structured instrumentation outside of Prism or Pegasus that is aspected towards American civilians in a form of counterintelligence. And because it's not regulated in this way, and you don't, it can breach right past all sort of standard aspects of wiretapping. Whatever, that's long been out the window. So that's not this. I'm not preaching that at all. That's been out the window. Hey, check out your acoustic arrays. Who's giving you an advertisement? When you go into a high-end place, all of a sudden, this song's been going through I love this song. I've been having this song replay in my head. Now I know why we've been having the damn songs replay in our head. It's been literal acoustic marketing. Like it can be done hundreds of feet away or within proximity of, aspecting as fixtures within the building. I'm stating it because I told you until there's order, I'm going to talk about how the maddening administration in your city, the branches are so look, White House, don't get touchy, y'all. Keep the chalk on the White House. That I'm trying to I need for you to be more unilateral. Like it, come on, you're already putting gold specks in the ballroom, Sir Trump. Like it. Can we have some? I would like some gold specks down here. You can unilaterally send me that from the state treasury, and without Pearson stealing my money, $70,000. Oh yeah, that's what's been stolen from me. $70,000. That's a pharmacist's yearly salary. So who's the pharmacist? Please give this motherfucker medication. Whoever is the pharmacist, they need to give the MF some medication in society so that they can calm the excitatory psychosis down and do a functional, let's get back structured job as an adult and a professional. If you have free time, then you sit down and mind your business and watch YouTube like everybody else. Stop driving people into insanity. Stop driving people's kids crazy. Stop sending your kids to school to have your kids drive other kids crazy. And then now your kid comes back with a problem you got to go pay for with some goddamn medication. You don't got insurance. Make sure that you answer that call upon open enrollment. And whomever is supposed to be my Curie of secretary, I'm thankful. Thank you. In case we don't say it, I didn't know that they were on staff. But since I got to be chief of staff and every goddamn thing, I got to be the secretary, the goddamn nurse practitioner, the goddamn every goddamn thing. Some moms are like, "Welcome to being a single parent." Or that has nothing to do with me, but maybe that's how they feel. I know I'm tired of taking care of people's families and their children with my money. Like I stated, I thought the Republicans would understand my struggles with this. JYB hybrid. Speaking of hybrid, uh, I just like in like what I'm saying, like in a different life. I'm focused, exhausted, and that does not sustain a life into the centurion type of aspect. You should have your shot every now and then. The studies show that if you have your glass of liquor at least once a week, you live longer than people trying to do everything structured. You see, it's wearing me down. I'm going fucking crazy with understanding and fostering facts within myself and my mentality while handling my own need to want to escape tyrant or tyrannical control and abusing installations that persons call American professionals. When you call yourself professional, please do the flag a favor and stop saying that it's American. That's embarrassing. That isn't. You are off of your meds. And since you're off of the meds, and then you refers to everybody on them call on the cell tower dump. Don't play me with the quote unquote whom they are. So we're gonna say John Doe's. Like, all right, court 1 through 30. Look at your call list. Look at the people who have sexual liaisons with the persons in your call list that you've met once at dinner and you let them come by your attention on whom you're communicating with online. It's not very wide and sparse, and it's chaotic, and it requires like this expansive investigation. Is directly the pool of confinement that you've aspected for yourself and put within your circle of reach at most times, of whom you see the most often, or who sees you, especially on that screen, that two-way screen that we're using called this looking glass, with your looking ass. Again, I would prefer, and I'm having to say this, and believe me, I used to a lot of times be the life of a party. At least I know it was lit if I stepped into the situation. But no one can have fun. You can't, and I'm not trying to relive anything that has already been and that was already has been. But I want to functionally aspect of a which is a legitimate concern of freedom from corrupt professionals. And that word professional is used very lightly because it's lost in this city. Like I've stated, I don't care about a simulation. I don't care about training or any weird aspect of that measure. I don't care about the cults. Spells that people are going absolutely crazy. We see what a drop in B vitamin complex does to everyone. And B1 and B12, correct? Thiamine, cobalamin, eye doctors. Can't even focus. The eyes, you see with your brain, so that means that the eyes are linked. It's my brain is literally just and chaotically by chaotic mirror personalities on the tower dump constable. Get it together. Stop touching my money. Stop conspiring to touch money. And this is a foreseeable aspect. You need to be in jail for conspiracy as well. It being 1 degree lesser than the most serious offense of the category, unless it's more than 3 people, then they have conspiratorial aspects to further engagement in organized criminal activity in the state. And I'm the life of the party. It has to say everybody's going to state jail. They need to go to state jail and stop trying to stop stealing my identification that they have stolen in 2020, making false elements. That's so they're creating all sorts of confinement. I can't work. Then they're aspecting to make sure that they use my identification that's been photocopied and elsewhere to get them apartments, to get them loans, and aspect. And you're going to get an FTC report and literally an aspecting to try to bribe persons of prospective employment not to hire myself, so that the perpetrators can be hired in those insistent segments. Constable, this is where you can then draw about whom they are as well and how they followed, build it, they will come. Running like I got the torch at the Olympics to start the damn ceremony. Ah, Lucifer. Morning superstar. Like it, I try so hard I almost died. I did. I had to ask doctors how long will I have to live. Resilience. I don't get pimples, hope this is not a flare indicating the body trying to suppress cancer. So resilient. Like some of you, you're so resilient in whatever it is that you're aspecting. So as we've stated, the 20th century was modern, an aspect in Nazi Germany, transporting somebody from place to place, aspecting constriction of food. It's not a simulation. It is a meta example of the displays of what happened with military forces, as was aspected in Germany, when persons got so small, separated from their persons, put into gas chambers, which could be aspected modernly as aspecting biochemical hazardous pathogenic instances with no ventilation, with some, and this is at multi locations that aspect gassing persons, which urine aspected in clouds of heat aspects lacerations within your lungs because of ammonia being created in this type of way, which is literally rusting of the inside of the sensitive mucosal and endothelial linings of your biodomes. Stop touching my money. Stop conspiring to do so. Put them in jail already for conspiracy. It is foreseeable that aspected more a civil injury and aspectual criminal continued course of conduct would aspect displacement of myself into exposure of already a hyena pack of perpetrators or defendants who have aspected as deployed assistants and visual spies within corporate and or residential structures to facilitate oral interception and or GPS metadata of likenesses and other aspects to obtain and sift personal identifying information to use for personal gain, such as apartment loans and anything else. If the prosecutor is aggressive, let me speak to the devil's advocate. Pacino, like, Yeah. So I think that may be all I need to say right now. Had to get it out. It's probably getting like late. I think I'd rather watch cartoons or something than look at humans and their artifice and their lying behavior patterns that are 97% of communication, and their slow indictments. Some of you should start. Could the jury run track for me? Anyway, I'm done. Over it for now. But I'm sure more bullshit is gonna happen with these unprofessional. Get professional, do your jobs, run the city. That aspects in this state that is a part of this union that is incorporated with its insistent treaties with the Geneva Convention. Thank you. Yeah, I want to end it like